Boston is the best team in the NBA, the most versatile team. They roll out every lineup they put out has shooters, and all shooters at every position, and pretty much defenders at every position. There's not many weaknesses there. They have their moments in crunch time if the threes aren't falling because they're taking like 47% of their shots are threes. They have some off moments, but they're still the team to beat. Doc Rivers has raised Milwaukee just by taking care of the basic stuff and getting, Giannis and Lillard to actually try some pick and rolls together, crazy stuff like that, and getting them playing off of each other more. They're the one team I think can be a threat, but I like Cleveland. I do like Cleveland. I don't think they're there. I don't think anybody else in that conference. Well, there is the Joel Embiid factor, right? Like there is, if Joel Embiid comes back and is absolutely dominant, maybe. But I think they're probably, and I don't know what the betting odds are on this, they're probably going to be the 7th seed, maybe the 8th seed. So it means that they're going to get Boston or Milwaukee in the first round. They'd like to get Minnesota. They'll take Boston or Milwaukee in the first round. And I don't think they can beat either of them, especially if Embiid has to not only just come back, right, guys? He's got to be MVP Embiid to pull this off.
And when you look at the top free agents in particular, I just scrolled through the PFF list of the best available free agents of the top 10 available. So we're taking the franchise and transition tag guys out of it. We're taking, for example, Mike Evans out of it, already been re-signed. And just looking at the top 10 available unrestricted free agents, according to PFF, you've got, Kirk Cousins is in the mix, a corner, a tackle, a wide receiver, and then all front 7 guys. Chris Jones, Christian Wilkins, Daniil Hunter, Leonard Williams, Bryce Huff, Patrick Queen. And so it strikes me, Joe, that may be where we see the most action on the first day, in particular when we're thinking Monday afternoon, as early agreements get leaked before they become official on Wednesday. Chris Jones in particular, and Wilkins right behind him, being the most attractive targets.
The interesting part to me is all these teams that are drafting at the top, most likely to take a quarterback, they got a ton of cap space. We talk so much about that rookie quarterback contract, and Washington has the most cap space at nearly $100 million. Like they could just, new ownership, you want to make a big splash? I would do it in volume. Because these teams that need so much, Washington and New England, they end up having the most cap space, which is why it was tough for me to match up a quarterback in a great situation, because you would think that the depth of these rosters is going to change a ton in the next week or so. But you're right, like especially D-line, like guys that can get after the quarterback a little bit, that's where teams are going to be tempted. Now, are they going to overspend on guys that are past their prime? Chris Jones showed at the end of the year that he still has it. Like, I had my doubts in the middle of the season, but what does he do? He turns it on when it really counts. During the playoffs, it's hard to find anyone better. 8 years into the league, and he can still play on that high level. But I would be concerned if I'm not in a winning situation right now, like Washington or New England, when it's going to take some time. Is this guy going to, first off, bring that veteran leadership that we need? And is he going to play like we need him to play every single week? Because chances are we're not going to make the postseason in this first year. Like, things flip quickly in this league, but it might take a little bit of time. But that would be my concern. Daniil Hunter out there, for some reason, he's that edge rusher that just always flies under the radar. And then you look up at the end of the year last year, oh yeah, he had 16 and a half sacks, 54 pressures. When he's healthy, when he's out there, he does it every single year. Christian Wilkins, you mentioned him, can play anywhere on the line. He's a guy that I could see a lot of teams, because he's so versatile, a lot of teams going after him. And then when you move down a little bit, like outside those the top 5, top 7, there are names that I have a lot of questions about. Like, yeah, there was a time when I loved Tyron Smith, when he was viewed as a lockdown tackle. He's going to be out there? I don't know. Ridley, disappointing because the expectations were so high going into the year. In the end, he put up enough numbers getting 1,000 yards. But where's Calvin Ridley at this stage in his career? So I think those top 5, top 7, Aaron, is pretty strong. especially
Mhm.
front seven guys, as Chris mentioned. But then there's a drastic drop off.
There's a lot of opportunity there, and I think it'll, be interesting to see what they do now with the new ownership, money to spend. They also made some moves with defense, Montez Sweat and Chase Young. So it's kind of like they got rid of some guys, but now they're going to have to bring some guys in. I think defense is a big need for them. And then, of course, the Zach Ertz signing in the last day. I like that. I thought that was a good move for them. So it'll be interesting to see what the Commanders do, because they just have, obviously they have a lot of money to spend, but they just have needs literally everywhere. Like, how quickly can they really get it together? Just from a betting perspective, I don't know. Can they make a big jump this year? It'll be interesting to see even what their win total is at and who all they get, because I think it would take some time.
Yeah, the teams with cap space at the top, I mean, for years, if you would have told us, oh, Belichick and the Patriots are going to be, fourth in the league in available cap space or whatever it is, you'd have thought, oh, man, I don't want to get in the way of that juggernaut. But now, with the rebuilding effort there, with Mayo as the head coach and a different personnel department, I'm curious to see how they and how attractive, not just how they handle it, but how attractive New England is as a destination. They're going to have money to spend. Do established veteran free agents have an interest in going to New England because, well, it's the Patriots? Of course I'd love to play for the Patriots. Or do they look at it and say, I don't know. This isn't the Patriots anymore. This is New England. And so I think that'll be curious to see.
Matthew Judon was just saying there's new energy and new life with the Patriots. Yeah, you don't say. Shocking now that Belichick's not there. I'm sure people are going to say that.
Yeah, look, I look at that roster. I'm like, all right, have fun. Maybe the defensive end will be okay. The question that I keep going back to is, do they really know how much Bill Belichick did? Like,
Right.
How many people is it going to take? And then who's going to be the leading forces, right? They're hiring so many coaches because they know that they need a lot more coaches now, because he covered up so much. He uncovered everything about the opponent on a given week. So that's fascinating. As far as the cap space, so the top 4 picks are all in the top 6 in cap space. Does that tell us something? Or does it just mean they haven't found their answer at quarterback, so they're not paying a quarterback because they have the answer? I mean, once you pay the quarterback, it changes everything with your roster and how you're going to build moving forward. But I can't help but but look at that, man, these top 4, they all have a ton of money. Is that part of the reason they're losing?
Is that, well, no, I think I'm thinking more about going forward, spinning this forward, and all of these teams, you've got a top 4 draft pick and your top 5th of the league in available cap space. If you're the Bears, the Patriots, the Commanders, if you've got a pick like that and that much available cap space, don't try and sell me as a fan of one of those teams on, well, rebuilds take time and da-da-da. No, you've got cap space and the ability to draft pretty much whoever you want. You better hit, and you better hit quickly.